There we go. Good morning, high school students. We are so glad you are here for the first edition of Friday Focus on Your Future. So I want to have you enter in the chat. How did you hear about Friday Focus? Did you hear about it from a parent, from a friend, from a sibling, from an HST, from Sequoia Scoop, from a VA teacher, from someone else? Enter in the chat. Okay, please mute yourself if you would also, please. So please enter in the chat how you heard about Friday Focus. And we are so glad you're here. And who are we? Well, we are going to introduce ourselves. First off, I want to start off by saying my name is Mary Burr. I am the high school counselor for all students whose last names begin with the letters A through F. And Miss Rachel, you're next.
I'm Rachel Radican, and I am the counselor for students with last names that are G through O.
Hello, and I am Michelle Bliss, and I'm the counselor for anybody with the last names of P through Z.
Hi, my name is Miss Reese Perez, and I am the high school curriculum coordinator, and I'm also the CTE coordinator for Sequoia Grove.
And I'm Linda Chen. I'm the assistant director of high school.
And there you have it. There's our part of our counseling team that are going to be presenting. We'll have various presenters as we go through these weeks with you. And we would love to have you come back every time. Today's agenda, we're going to be talking about what's required for graduation, what you need to get the diploma. Like some of you are just like, just tell me what I need to be done. I just want to get that diploma and be done with high school. Others of you are planning for something in the future, maybe going, I mean, all of you hopefully are planning something in the future, but hopefully some of you will be thinking about maybe continuing your education, and you might be interested in what the A to G requirements are so that you are ready to take freshman level college classes, whether you go to a community college or a 4-year. And then the state of California has a way to determine whether students are considered prepared for career and college when they graduate. So we're going to talk a little bit today about what you need to do to be prepared according to the state. And then lastly, we're going to be talking about curriculum and the electives, some of the fun classes that you get to take where you can express yourself. And these are individual choices and preferences. And we're just wanting to offer or give you information so that you can make some informed choices, okay? So starting off today, we're gonna go to Miss Rachel, and Miss Rachel's gonna talk a little bit about what you need to get done.
All right, hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today. We're happy to have you all here. Just a little bit of high school talk. So if you want your diploma and to be done, you are going to follow the high school graduation requirements, and I'll kind of show you where those are, and we'll do a little bit of comparison between those and A through G when Miss Mary is going over her part. But basically, if you want your diploma and to be done, you're going to just do the main high school graduation requirements. This will get you qualified to go straight into the workforce or go into the military or whatever you want to do after. You also can go to community college with this track, the high school grad requirements. But we would prefer that you do the A through G just because you will be better prepared for any college that you go to, which leads us into the college entrance requirements, or what those A through G classes stand for. So those are getting you better prepared for community college classes, as well as any classes for the CSU, which is the California State University colleges, the UCs, which are the Universities of California colleges, and then any private colleges as well. All right, Mary, we can go to the next page. So you'll be working, or probably already have worked with your HST in creating an IGP, which is an individual graduation plan. We put this in place for you and help you kind of chart the trajectory of the classes that you'll take and when you'll take them. So you can see with the little pink arrow there, those are the units that you'll need in the subject areas, next to the subject areas there, in order to meet the graduation requirements only. You can see in the next column, those are the A through G requirements, and Miss Mary will be going over those shortly. We like to have everybody start on the A through G trajectory. You have about the same classes the first year or two, and then that's kind of where some of the different classes will fall off for your minimum graduation requirements versus A through G. So you can see in that English row, there's English 9, 10, and 11, and then there's no English for 12th grade. Although we highly recommend that you do take English all 4 years, technically you do not have to if you just want to meet those minimum graduation requirements and graduate and then move on. Okay, so again, Ms. Mary will kind of go over the side-by-side comparison of what those look like, but for your IGP, if you guys have access to this, or if you want to meet with your HST to go over this, the column where the pink arrow is pointing to, those are the numbers of units that you need for those subject areas in order to meet the total credits required, which is 200, to graduate with your high school diploma. And if you have any questions about this, you can feel free to raise your hand or put them in the chat, and we can elaborate on those at the end.
All right, thanks, Miss Rachel. And so you can imagine that when you're going to apply to a 4-year college or university, all of those schools are going to expect that you have some kind of a foundation in academics. They expect you to understand basic US history, world history, some math. There are just some things that you should have a good, solid foundation, and all colleges will expect students to have that. So these are the fields. I expect you to have a good foundation in social science and English, math, science, world language, and visual and performing arts. And the state of California has taken all of these requirements, are actually the field subject areas, and they've assigned a letter to each one of them, so that that's why we call them A to G. A is going with social science, B with English, C with math, D. So they may say, we want to look at your E requirement, and that would be your world language requirement. So when all of us are saying A to G, really all A to G is those subject area requirements that provide a good foundation for you when you go on to whatever your next step is in your future. Okay, so I want to compare a little bit between what Ms. Rachel said about your basic graduation requirements and then what the A to G requirements are. So let me move on to the next slide. These are the A to G requirements. They require history 2 years, but actually, since the state of California also requires you to take economics, realistically, that's going to be 3 years because that's going to be a grad requirement. English, they want 4 years, math 3 years, a lab science 2 years, a language other than English 2 years, 1 year of a VAPA, which is short for visual and performing art, and then 1 year of an elective, which is any one of those categories above. So how does that kind of work out? How does that look? Let's take a look at side by side to see what the requirements are for just your graduation requirements, and then the requirements for A to G are those UC and CSU admission requirements. So like I said, for English, and like what Ms. Rachel said, to graduate from Sequoia Grove, a Sequoia Grove school, you need 3 years of English. But if you were A to G, you would need that 4th year of English. So 4 years are required. This is one of the differences between the two. When we look at the math requirement to graduate, you need 2 years of math, and that has to include 1 year of Algebra 1. So Algebra 1 and then consumer math, Algebra 1 and geometry, Algebra 1 and 1 other year, or pre-algebra and Algebra 1. That would be your basic graduation requirement. But again, if you're going to go for the A to G, you need 3 years, and you have to have the sequence of either Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, or Integrated Math 1, Integrated Math 2, and Integrated Math 3. So you need to have 3 years for the A to Gs, and you have to go through that sequence, okay? For science, to graduate from a Sequoia Grove, you just need 2 years, 1 year of a life science, 1 year of a physical science. For A to Gs, you need the 1 year of life science. They say that 1 year of physical science should be chemistry or physics, and then they recommend a 3rd year, which could be an earth science, or it could be, if you took chem, it could be physics, or it could be another advanced science class. Okay. For social science, to graduate, you need 1 year of world history, 1 year of US history, and then 1 semester of government and 1 semester of econ. And that's going to be the same for the A to Gs. There's no difference there. Okay. Now, the next segment is a little bit murky for some people because visual and performing arts and world language, we combine those two for the grad requirements. So if you're just getting a diploma, all you need is 1 year of either 1 year of a visual and performing art or 1 year of a world language, either or, and that would get you your diploma. However, if you're going A to G, you need both of those. You're going to need to have 1 year of a visual and performing art, or, I'm sorry, not or is for the grad requirements. But when we're doing A to G, you need visual and performing art and 2 years of the same language. So when we talk about visual and performing arts, we're talking about drama, music, art like drawing or painting or photography, those areas of visual and performing arts. When we're talking about the world language, sometimes called language other than English, we need 2 years of the same language. So maybe you took Spanish your first year, but you decided to do American Sign Language and you took 1 year of American Sign Language. Well, that wouldn't count for the A to Gs because that's only 1 and 1. And you need to have 2 years of the same language. So you would need to continue on and do ASL2 if that's what you were going to go for. Electives, to graduate from Sequoia Grove, you'll need 90 credits of electives. Okay, that gives you a whole lot of options and choices. And Ms. Reese is going to talk about some of those options and choices you have later on in this presentation. For the A to Gs, all you need is 1 additional year from any of those previously mentioned categories. So 1 additional year of English or of math, science, social science, VAPA, or world language. So 1 additional year of that. So when you look at them side by side, a lot of it's the same, but there are a few key differences. So that 4th year of English is a key difference. Taking that sequence of math where you end up with either Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, or Integrated Math 1, 2, and 3. That 3rd year of science, which is strongly recommended, okay? And then the VAPA and the world language, okay? That's what you need for the A to Gs, VAPA and the world language. Okay, I hope that makes a little bit of sense, or maybe a lot more sense. I'm going to continue right now, or actually I'm going to pass the baton to Ms. Michelle, and she's going to talk about CCGI.
Hi, everybody. So yeah, the CCGI, it stands for, there's all kinds of acronyms in education. So I'm sure that if you have not learned that, you will start to learn that. But this one is CCGI, and it's called the California College Guidance Initiative. So it's just basically saying, in our state of California, are you as a high school graduate ready for the next step? Whatever that next step may be. It may be college, it may be career, it may be military. There's all kinds of options that we as your high school people want to make sure that you're ready for that next step. So how can you do that? So the next slide. So there's benefits of being ready for life is what we call it. I know that somewhere in here I call it adulting. So we all know that adulting is coming around the corner. So on this CCGI, the guidance initiative, is that we really want to make sure that along the way, you're finding what your next steps after high school are going to be. So there's a few ways to do that. So career might be something that you know that you want to go into a certain career. So you're going to start researching that in high school. So if you don't know, if you know, like I know I'm going to go into construction, my family has a construction business, I want to go into construction, I know that's what I want to do, then we can start helping you take some of those classes while you're in high school. So you can, all those electives that Mary talked about, you can get those in specific areas that interest you. So that's why we say start researching in high school. What do you like? What are you good at? And I always like to say, what is the world going to pay you to do? So that's kind of that career aspect of it, is we can't always just have fun and do everything we like. or that we're good at. We've got to figure out how to make that career out of it. And then along with that career is also military. So I didn't put that here. I should have said / military, but that is definitely on the career pathway. So that could be how you get ready for life. The other way to get ready for life is college. So I think I put it after career because I think it's really important to start figuring out that career piece, because that career piece is going to guide. Do you need a college degree? Do you need a career education certificate? Do you need military? What do you need? So if you start figuring that out before, you don't just go off to college not really knowing what you want to do. So the college that's where I was talking about, does your career pathway require any post-secondary education? And how can that be done? I know back in the day, we used to call that trade school. So our community colleges are kind of taking over that trade school because they have tons of, they call it career education programs. So there's tons of those. Or does your career need a 4-year degree? Are you going to be a school teacher that you have to have a 4-year degree? Are you going to be a doctor that you need beyond a 4-year degree? So you start to figure that out a little bit while you're in high school and while you have some help and supports to do that. So the readiness part is, are you ready? Are you ready to adult? Are you ready to be an adult? Are you ready to give back to your community? Things like that. And so we are hoping that we can help get you ready. And if you meet the state standards of being ready, that CCGI completer is what we call it, then we are going to salute you and praise you and give you that recognition that you deserve for working hard in high school and kind of preparing yourself for those next steps. And we're going to do, it's an award at graduation. So you do get a medal. You are on the list as being a CCI completer. So I'm sure all of you are super excited to have your medal. So this is how you become a CCI completer. So this one is a little, okay, yes. What do you have to do to be a CCI completer? So there's a couple of different ways. So Mary talked about A to G. So if you are the A to G completer, you do all those courses for A to G, that gets you on the way. It doesn't quite get you as a completer, but it gets you on the way. So that's a good place to start. Sorry, I was reading Shannon's thing. And we have a cord. So it is a cord, it's not a medal, I'm sorry, but you still are honored. Regardless, you are very honored at graduation if you have the CCI completer. The other way is CTE, which is career technical education. So there's certain pathways that you can do through high school to have that CTE pathway. So but you still have to do another thing. So I'll get to that in a minute. So you're on your way. If you are A to G completer, you're on your way. If you're a CTE completer, you are absolutely there if you take any college courses while you're in high school. So you've got 4 years to be in high school. And if you take 2 college classes, 2 different semesters, just 2 college classes while you're in high school, the whole 4 years you're in high school, then that makes you a completer as well. Also, along with the A to G and along with the CTE, you can also do if on your testing, you score a certain amount on your testing when you test in high school, that your test score and being A to G can get you as a completer. Your test score and CTE can get you as a completer, or college courses along with A to G can make you a completer, and college courses along with CTE can make you a completer. So as we muddy the waters, let me give you the next slide that has kind of a nice presentation. It looks like it's confusing, but it's really not. So if you kind of look on that left side, it says A to G requirements. That's what they are. So Mary already went over all of that. So that just tells you what the A to G means. But to be a completer, it's not just about A to G. It's about how you do other things with your high school time. So if you kind of look under the other side in the purple, it talks about that CTE pathway. So we talked about being a CTE pathway. So if you do a CTE pathway in high school, where say you go through, we have one through the strong workforce, that's culinary arts, and you go through that pathway and you're a completer with that pathway, that's awesome. but you still need one more thing. So the one more thing is your SBAC testing. You get a certain number on your SBAC testing, or you take one dual enrollment, concurrent enrollment, any college class. So that's how, if you're a CTE person, that's how you would be a completer. Then we look at just the SBAC, which is the testing. If you score a 3 on both the ELA and the math, that will make you a completer. The other orange in the middle is dual enrollment with our colleges. So that's where, if you're not a CTE completer, you're not an A to G person, but you take 2 college courses, that makes you a completer. So you're good to go there. Advanced placement, those are those AP classes that you take. Your AP courses can earn you that completer status. And then if we look at yellow, the A to G, remember I said A to G, you're on your way. Well, you have to add something into that A to G. So just being A to G, it does not make you a completer. You have to add one of those other things. So either add a CTE pathway, or get a certain score on your SBAC, or take one college class, or be AP. So that just kind of, and the other thing too, the next one, I guess I should just keep going, is the seal of biliteracy. So if you have your seal of biliteracy, that also makes you a completer. And then there's also the leadership or the military science. So you would have to have 2 years of that, which we offer. So those are ways that you can be completers. So you kind of can decide how you want to go about that. We always say, if you take 2 college classes, boom, you're done. You know, if you score on your SBAC, which is that state testing, boom, you're done. But there are different ways. And so you can definitely meet with your counselors. So all of our students have a counselor assigned to them, like we talked about with your last name. And you could say, hey, I really want to be that CCI completer and be recognized at graduation. I didn't understand your crazy slide. Can you help me? So that's a way you can reach out, and we can make sure that you're on that pathway as a completer. I think that's all for me.
And I'm just going to pause here for a minute while I
Mary, do you want me to share my slides, or do you want to?
I'm just going to go back real quick and share. I got the slides right here, if that's okay, Ms. Reese. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. So Ms. Reese is going to go into all kinds of fun stuff. Not that what we just said wasn't fun, but she's got more fun stuff for you. Go take it away, Ms. Reese.
Okay. So I'm going to go over electives with you guys. There are about a mile wide and a mile deep different options for electives. So bear with me here as we get into this. Just a fun little meme to get you going. On to the next slide, please, Mary. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so tips as I go over these things. I want you to grab a piece of paper and something to take notes with as we go along, just so that you can kind of keep track of maybe some things that you might be interested in. Take an interest survey like the one that's linked, and we will absolutely get you these slides so that you can take the one that's linked right here. Note the name of the various places to take the courses that you're interested in. Okay, so for example, like Edmentum, eDynamics, so which curriculum platform you can use for the curriculum choices that you want. And then also ask questions. Feel free to do that. Drop your comments, questions into the chat. Totally happy to go over all that. Okay, so a couple things. We're going to go over elective options first. CTE a little bit, because that's kind of my jam. 3, we're going to go over different curriculums in order to achieve those elective options. And then some in-person or live options or live online options, depending upon what you're really super into. Okay, so up first, electives. Okay, so according to our course catalog, these are all of the different A to G elective options that you can take. There are about a bazillion different options. Go ahead and scan through that list. Make note of your top maybe 2, 3, 4 choices that you're interested in, 5 even maybe. You know, you've got to complete those 90 electives credits somehow, or 50 if you're on the A to G track. Either way, you got to complete a lot of them. So these are A to G ways to do it. Okay, next slide. All right, so outside the box options, these are your not so typical options. So hobby related, things like there, and there are other options beside just these. So if you have a different hobby, it could still be a class option. So don't rule it out, okay? But hobby related, some of the photography options, gaming, design, art, instrumental music, equestrian. I know we have some horse lovers out there, independent project. Okay, this is kind of our catch-all. Right? If you are rebuilding the engine of your dirt bike, okay, or if you are restoring an old car with your dad, okay, or if you have a really cool side hobby of restoring old furniture, okay, upcycling. Those are all things that we can make an independent project out of. And you just keep track of what you're doing. You record it. You keep a log of how many hours you've worked on it, and you do a reflection for your HST. Okay, that's the work sample that you turn into her every single month. And you're keeping track of your progress toward your goal of that independent project, whether it's an individual project or whether it's multiple little projects, that's okay too. Another option, another outside the box option is adulting classes. Okay, so workplace skills and experience. Those are the classes. Those are the classes that, like, if you already have a job that you're working part-time. So let's say you're working at Dutch Bros. Okay, that would be an example of a workplace skills and experience job. Okay. Home economics. So if you really need to learn how to do the dishes, how to do your own laundry, all of those things, right? The adulting things, then this is the class for you. Career exploration. If you have no idea what's even out there, right? This is a really great place to start. Driver's ed and driver's training, those are actually classes that we can put on your master agreement, and they can be taken in high school through Sequoia Grove, and we can pay for them too, even better. And last but not least, of course, CTE. That is a huge adulting piece, okay? This is a great way CTE is, for those of you who don't know, CTE is career technical education, okay? It is you dipping your toes into the waters of whatever career pathway that you are most interested in, okay? It can be taken in the form of individual elective courses, or it can be taken as a complete pathway. Okay, a complete pathway means you're taking a couple different courses in the same exact career path. Okay, and at the end of graduation, you are getting a CTE completer certificate for that. Okay, so you're getting a seal on your diploma, and you're also getting a card at graduation, which whoop whoop, double duty there, right? You're getting two things, just, you know, throwing that out there. But the problem with CTE pathways is there's only a handful of different options that we offer, okay? So we'll get into that a little bit more as we go. All right, Miss Mary, thank you. Here we go. Okay, CTE options. So if you look at my little example on the right, what you're seeing is a list of different, basically career clusters. Like if I were to say, okay, so you're really interested in education. Okay, so from there's different career options, right? So if you're interested in education, you could go early childhood education, and you could teach preschool. You could go the education, you know, TK8 and teach elementary or junior high, or you could go the high school route, right? There's different options within that category, right? So you're not just limited to one pathway if you're choosing education, right? Did that make sense? So obviously there are a bunch of different career overarching pathways, right? And it gets more refined as you go. Okay, next slide. All right, so CTE, I already went over this, but it stands for Career Technical Education. Okay, it's a course of study in a real career. So you can either take a single course in a career-oriented class as an elective, or you can complete the full pathway, which is generally a year-long commitment. Sometimes it's longer, but it's a series of classes that are more in-depth, okay? The benefits of a CTE elective, it's just one class, right? It's one class, you're dipping your toes in, you're not fully dipping your feet in, it's just your toes. You're trying out something that you may have interest in versus a full pathway where you are actually kind of submerging a little bit more, right? You're going on a deeper level. There's opportunity for certifications. There's all kinds of opportunities as you get further down that pathway. And then there's also community college options. So community colleges in your area offer CTE elective courses in almost every single thing that you can think of, every career pathway. And if it's not offered at one community college, it's offered at a different one. And the beautiful thing is, in the state of California, you can take any community college class that you want. So if you wanted to take one in LA County, that's okay. Probably want to take one online, but you can. It's available. You can do it. So currently, here are the list of CTE pathways that we offer through Sequoia Grove. So business management, computer science, culinary, entrepreneurship, which is basically starting your own business, right? Running your own company, fire tech, international business, ooh, that's fun, marketing, professional sales, or sports medicine. And the way that you can take those, I don't know if it's on the next slide or not, Mary. I don't remember. Oh, can you go back? Sorry. Okay. So, oops, there we go. Okay, so the way that you can take those, there's 2 different options that we're offering right now. I haven't added the third option back in because I just heard back from them today. Yay. But option 1, you can take it through a program called Strong Workforce, which is offered through Sacramento County Office of Education. It's totally free to you. It's only a 1-year investment of your time, and CTE completer, boom, full pathway. You can take that checkbox. The other options are a little bit longer. They tend to be more of like 2-3 year pathways, and they can be taken through e-dynamic learning. Okay, so the Strong Workforce classes, the 1-year investment, those are from the top: computer science, culinary, entrepreneurship, fire tech, and sports medicine. Okay, the other options, and actually entrepreneurship is another one through eDynamic as well, but the other ones are offered through eDynamic learning. And the third option, which I haven't added back in yet, is Edmentum. Edmentum offers a bunch of different pathways that can be taken. So if you don't see one of the career options that you really want, Edmentum probably has it, and I just haven't put it back in there yet, but it will be there. Okay, Mary, on to the next. All right, let's trudge forward. Elective curriculum. Okay, so the greatest selection of online asynchronous options are through eDynamics. Okay, so it could be the CTE pathways that you really, really want, or it could be just a class in photography or a class in criminology, something super interesting, forensic science, you name it, they have it. Go check out what their curriculums offer. Again, those are asynchronous options. So asynchronous meaning it's an online course, okay, with no live instructor. The other, although the classes, I will say, do come with an instructor who grades your work on the back end. Other options, also asynchronous. ASU Prep Digital offers some different elective options. BYU actually has a pretty good breadth of elective options. Edmentum, Acellus, UC Scout, Edgenuity, Florida Virtual, those all offer online asynchronous options. And then your local community college, you can take either an online class or an in-person, which is really cool. Okay, in-person or live. Here we go. All right, so live online classes, you can take a couple different electives through HSVA. Classical Learning Resource Center. They actually have some really interesting classical electives. OutSchool does have some really cool options as well. Williamsburg Academy, Well Trained Mind, Mr. D's Math. They actually have an ASL. I know, Mr. D's Math offers ASL. Go check it out. Okay, and then in-person options. So these are pretty specific to certain areas. This is a work in progress as far as classes that are offered in person. So we're developing this list as we go. But current class offerings at Blue Door in Auburn. Love of Learning has 2 different locations. They have one in Rockland and one in Folsom. They have Hands in Motion and On the Go Academy in Roseville. Natoma's Homeschool Alliance in Sacramento also offers electives. So you can read through these options, but the real one that I want you to focus on again is that number 9, your local community college. You can absolutely take classes in person at any local community college. And the best thing is it's free. And it ticks that CCI box. So if you want to be a college career indicator ready and you want to get an extra credit at graduation, that's the way to do it. So it doesn't have to be a core course. That's the beautiful thing. So if you want to take a college course, you can absolutely take an elective course, and it's the best way for you to check out what's available to you or what you're interested in and see if it's actually something that you want to go into before you invest, right? So before you head off to college and you're like, I want to do this with my life, or before you head off to a career and say, hey, I want to do this with my life, it is the best option ever to go in and check out what it actually looks like in a career, as a career in a local community college. So if you really love photography and you really want to be a photographer, go take a photography class at your local community college. I promise it's well worth it. Okay, other in-person ideas. So ways that you can turn a hobby into an elective course. We kind of talked about music lessons. So, if you love guitar, if you love piano, if you love violin, horseback riding, dance, theater, photography, PE classes. There are a huge number of PE classes locally. So if you are a soccer player, if you are an athlete of some sort, okay, I default to soccer, sorry. Rock climbing. If you love rock climbing, there is actually Granite Arches here locally. I believe they are maybe, I don't know exactly where they are, somewhere in Sacramento, but they do offer rock climbing classes that you can take. They are a vendor of ours, and super cool way to earn elective credit. Or gymnastics. Just a couple of examples. So take a hobby and turn it into an elective. Okay, next please. Okay, so get out a piece of paper and pen. Make a list of your top 3 to 5 hobbies, interests, more if you even want to. And then elective courses that sparked your interest. And then number 3, I also linked this personality test here. It's a great way to kind of get to know yourself and get to know what your strengths are, your interests are, your hobbies, all of the things. And then write down the web address for the coolest website ever, which is northstatecareers.org. I was in a meeting this week and I just learned about this. So Mary, if you can click on that website for me really, really quick, I promise I will be super fast. But I just kind of want to give you guys an overview of what this looks like because it's so cool. Okay, so they give you an option of different locations for different things that you might be interested in. So let's say you're looking for a nursing program in Sacramento. Well, then that is absolutely an option. All you have to do is type in your location or type in an area of interest, and it will come up with different places, different colleges that offer different programs. It could be a certification program. It could be an AA. There's all kinds of different things. So poke around on that website. You can kind of do backward searches. So you can search by industry. You can search by college, however you want to do it. But definitely bookmark this site because this is like the hidden gem. I promise. Super cool. Yeah, so if you're just kind of scrolling through, yep, there you go. So you can see the different certification programs, like that very top one, licensed vocational nursing, or LVN RN 30 units. That's also a certification program. Or if you really want to get your AA or your AS in this case, then which is like your associate's degree basically in nursing, then it's showing you the different courses or the different options by college in your area. So again, if you're looking for something in Sacramento, Sac City offers a certification program in nursing. Okay, and I think that's it for me. Mary, will you just check to say, I can't remember if I have another slide or not. Oh, okay, ta-da, the end. So again, my name is Ruth Perez and I am the CTE, Career Technical Education and High School Coordinator. So if you have a high school curriculum question, you have a CTE question, you have an electives question, you come my way.
Thank you, Reese. That was amazing. That's a lot of information right there. And you've gotten a lot of information today from Miss Rachel, from Miss Michelle, from myself, from Miss Reese. So I would like you, actually, Miss Linda, if you would put the exit ticket link in the chat, we would love for you to complete an exit ticket for us. And on that exit ticket, it's going to ask you things about, well, it's just going to ask your name and your homeschool teacher name primarily. And if you're a parent or an HST, you can add that in there too, so that we can just kind of track who was here and if this information was helpful to you. So please include that on the exit ticket. Also, if you have some suggestions for future Friday Focus themes or presentations, please include those also. This slide deck that we just showed you today will be posted on our counseling website, and you'll be able to click on all the links there if you want to go back to some of those interest inventory links or some of the CCGI links that were in there. You can certainly go back that way and do that. And also, we are going to be having a YouTube channel, a high school, Sequoia Grove High School YouTube channel, and we will have a Friday Focus channel on that channel. That's how that works. It's not up and running yet, but as soon as it is, we'll have the link in our counseling website so that you'll be able to see that. And parents, just forget, I meant to delete that sentence that's there at the end. So please be sure to complete the exit ticket so that maybe your HST is giving you extra credit for attending. If not, maybe you might want to ask your HST if they want to give you extra credit for something. Also, let's see what else we have here. I want to give you a little shout out or preview of things to come. We're not going to meet next week because there are no classes next week. It's an off day for students while all of us at Sequoia Grove have some professional development. So please come back in 2 weeks. The topic in 2 weeks is going to be the trade schools or those careers that you can go into. If you're interested in a specific career and want to know how you can further your education there, Miss Michelle's going to be talking a lot about career programs at community colleges and trade schools. And I'm going to give Miss Reese a minute to talk about 3 weeks from today on the 10th. She's got some exciting news about career conversations. Reese, take it away.
Thanks, Mary. Okay, so Career Conversations was a pilot program that we started last year where I was interviewing somebody who is actually in a different career every single month. Well, we're bringing it back through Friday Focus, and this year we're starting out on February 10th with an author, a nationally acclaimed author with that in mind. She has like 50 different books that she's published. Her name is Kelly Oram. She is amazing, and I can't wait to sit down and chat with her. But come back for that one because she will be live here, and any questions that you have for her, anybody who you know who wants to be an author, please bring them. I'm sure that they probably have questions for her. Or if you have questions for her about how she got started, or you would just kind of want to hear her story and hear how she got into her business, I'm sure she would love to share all of the things.
Thanks, Reese. And these presentations are brought to you by your high school counselors. And some people need a reminder of who their counselor is. So there are our names and which parts of the alphabet we cover. And I am going to pause the recording for a minute and see if there are any questions and see if, let me see, pause